Romeo and Juliet is a Shakespearean play with 34 different movies depicting it. Some people say it's the greatest story ever, and some cringe to the sight of anybody acting it out. The story is a tragedy of two teenagers from two feuding families secretly loving each other, and both of them dying because of it. One of my favorite things about this play is that in the movies depicting the play in the actual time period it's set in, Romeo just acts all sad in the beginning, walking with his head down while holding a flower. But in the modern version of the movie, while he does do some of this emo stuff and probably watches sad Bart Simpson edits, he also just Anyways, in the beginning, the two families, Montague and Capulet, have a large brawl in the streets, and both families are warned by the prince that death will come if they keep on fighting. Then, as I talked about before, Romeo acts all emo because this girl Rosaline doesn't want him, blah blah blah. Romeo and his friends sneak into a party hosted by the Capulets. Romeo gets caught by some dude named Tybalt, but Mr. Capulet is chill and lets it slide, and Romeo instantly falls in love with some 13-year-old girl named Juliet, and she also falls in love with him. They share a kiss, then Romeo finds out that she's a Capulet, and Juliet finds out that Romeo's a Montague, meaning that they are mortal enemies. Then, after the party, Romeo is walking with his friends, and he really wants to see Juliet, so he just dips and abandons them. While sneaking around, he makes his way to the Capulet garden, where he sees Juliet on her balcony talking to herself about him, and wishing he had a different name so they could love each other in peace. Romeo then proceeds to stalk and eavesdrop on her for a bit, and then reveals himself and says something along the lines of, "I can be whoever you want me to be," and that his last name shouldn't get in the way of true love. And they schedule to get married the next day. What? You met her like not even an hour ago. What are you on? Moving on, the next day, Romeo and Juliet get married by the friar at the local church after only knowing each other for less than 24 hours. And remember that guy who caught Romeo at the party, Tybalt? Yeah, well, he's still butthurt that Romeo went to the party uninvited, so he sends a letter to Romeo challenging him to a duel. Some of Romeo's friends, Mercutio and Benvolio, meet Tybalt in the streets, where Tybalt and Mercutio provoke each other to a fight. Then, Romeo arrives and tries to de-escalate the situation, basically saying that he loves Tybalt but cannot tell why, because now that he and Juliet are married, Tybalt is his cousin-in-law, but Mercutio gets bored of the peacekeeping and just duels Tybalt, leading to Mercutio's death. Romeo, infuriated by the death of his best friend, chases after Tybalt and duels him, eventually killing Tybalt. The prince then gets angry because he already threatened the families with death if another brawl happened, and now two more people are dead, so he banishes Romeo from entering the town ever again. Now, Juliet has to marry some creep, Paris, that her father wants her to marry, and gets worried, but worry not, because the friar has a plan. Juliet shall fake her death using a potion, her funeral will be held, Romeo will receive letters telling him of the plan, Juliet will wake up, and they will run away to live together in Mantua. However, when these acts are carried out, and Juliet takes the remedy and fakes her death, Romeo never receives the letter and is not told of the plan. Benvolio, Romeo's friend that was at the duel, overlooks the funeral and runs away to tell Romeo that Juliet is dead. Romeo now wants to see Juliet to know for sure and runs to the Capulet tomb where he encounters Paris, the other guy who wanted Juliet. They duel and Romeo wins. Going into the tomb, he finds Juliet's seemingly lifeless body. He gives her one last kiss, takes a poison, and dies. Juliet then awakens, sees Romeo's body, and stabs herself. Womp womp. Their deaths then allow both families to end the feud, as they are both mourning heavy losses.